With his long scarf, curly hair, jelly babies, and Harpo Marx expressions, Tom Baker has long been a fan favorite, especially for US viewers who watched a lot of his episodes on PBS in the 80s. Okay, so, I know I've been doing top 5 lists of stories lately, but I don't know, Tom Baker had so many, and he had 7 seasons for goodness sakes. I just couldn't pick just 5, so I'm gonna do a top 10 Tom Baker stories list. But I am going to divide it into 2 parts. So, without further ado, here's my first half of the top 10 Tom Baker stories. Pyramids of Mars. Yet another Robert Holmes script. He wrote it after another version by someone else fell through. This one finds the Doctor and Sarah Jane Smith going up against Sutekh, one of an alien group who supposedly inspired the mythology surrounding the Egyptian gods. New series fans might be interested to know that Sutekh is voiced by actor Gabriel Wolf, who also voiced the Beast in The Impossible Planet and The Satan Pit. Not only is this a good story, but it is also a great example of the excellent chemistry between Tom Baker and Elizabeth Sladen. Seriously, how can this be anything but the greatest Doctor companion duo in the show's history? It's all subjective, of course, but that's how I see it. The Ark in Space. Only the second story to feature Tom Baker as the Fourth Doctor. This story finds the Doctor, Sarah Jane, and Harry in the far future helping the crew of a ship survive an attack from the parasitic Wirren. The crew are some of the last of humanity who have escaped the planet Earth, which had become uninhabitable. As with many stories from the classic era, if you can look past the dodgy special effects, this is a great story. And when I say dodgy, I mean, well, this is the story where some of the monsters are bubble wrap painted green. But to be fair, bubble wrap wasn't as common a household item then, apparently. And I'm sure would have looked a lot better at the time on the small TVs they had. The effects department always did the best with the tiny budget they were given. I don't think it looks that bad, but I do know some people have been put off by it. That's the only reason I mentioned it. Many fans have drawn comparisons between this story and the plot of the horror movie Alien.
There's a horror movie called Alien. That's really offensive. No wonder everyone keeps invading you.
And even wonder if it's part of Ridley Scott's inspiration. I don't know about that, but I do know that this story is very good and has some dark moments, great chemistry between the Doctor's companions, and, well, just all around good writing. Very enjoyable story. I highly recommend it. The Talons of Wang Chang. Long considered to be one of the best Doctor Who stories ever made, Talons of Wang Chang is also the swan song of producer Philip Hinchcliffe and script editor Robert Holmes, who together oversaw what is considered by many to be the golden era of the classic series run. Set in the Victorian era, this story takes several elements from classic Victorian literature and wraps them up in a Doctor Who story. After witnessing a murder, the Doctor and Leela get caught up in a mystery involving missing women and a malevolent Chinese god. Along the way, they team up with pathologist Professor George Lightfoot and theatrical impresario Henry Gordon Jago, who, although they don't meet up until much later in the story, are possibly the most fondly remembered of the Robert Holmes double acts, and who, unlike Duggan, did get their own Big Finish spin-off, which lasted up until the sad passing of the late great Trevor Baxter, who played Lightfoot. This story also features a very young Deep Roy in one of his first roles as an evil ventriloquist dummy. You may remember him from such films as The Never-Ending Story, Big Fish, Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, Star Trek, as well as many others. If you're a fan of stories set in the creepy Victorian London fog, then this is the story for you. The Robots of Death. This is actually the first Doctor Who story I ever saw in full. It's a really fun blend of Agatha Christie murder mystery and Isaac Asimov science fiction. At least, so I've been told. I've read Christie, but not Asimov, so I wouldn't know about that. But if that convinces you to watch it, great, as it is a fantastic story. The Doctor and new companion Leela arrive on a mining ship run by a small crew with help from a bunch of Art Deco robots whose programming does not allow them to hurt humans. Or does it? When murders start occurring on board the ship, everyone begins to question whether this prime directive is indeed absolute. The story has very creative set design, good acting, an intriguing mystery, and just the right amount of creep factor, especially if you have a fear of the uncanny valley effect. So yeah, definitely going on the list. City of Death. Tom Baker. Romana 2. Douglas Adams and location filming in Paris. Yes, that is just as much fun as it sounds. The Fourth Doctor and Romana are exploring Paris when a time glitch leads them into the investigations of a somewhat bumbling detective on the trail of an art thief with an unusual relationship to time and sinister plans for the Mona Lisa. This has all the wit and charm you'd expect from a Douglas Adams script starring Tom Baker and Lalla Ward, an excellent iconic score from Dudley Simpson, and why has Big Finish not done a spin-off series with Duggan? Seriously, is there rights issues from the Douglas Adams estate or something? I don't know. But whatever it is, I want them to sort it out. I demand a Duggan Private Eye series. Get on it, Briggs and Richardson, now. Or not, I don't know what you have up your sleeve. You might have something better. I'm not actually a Big Finish executive or anything. I don't know. Maybe that wouldn't be good. I think it would be, though. What do you guys think? Do you agree with my list so far? Do you disagree? What are your top 10 or top 5 Tom Baker stories? Let me know in the comments below, and I'll see you next time with Part 2. Bye!